Welcome to this week's episode of Your Social Work Self. And I'm your host, Danielle. Today you are in for a real treat as we have the guest speaker, Danny McCarthy, on placement at WayAhead, but rapidly emerging as the next big mover and shaker in social work research and policy design. Let's welcome Danny to the microphone. Well, Danielle, that was a flattering intro to begin. I hope what I say today doesn't disprove it. So what is today's central focus or question? Well, Danielle, it's actually all about me. The topic I've chosen is, have I developed my social work self at WayAhead? Let's get started then. A critical reflection on thriving as a social worker at WayAhead. So today, Danielle, I will highlight my application of social work theory into practice while working with a network of mental health workers to complete an evaluative project upholding the values and purpose of WayAhead Mental Health Association. And let me tell you, it wasn't a small project. And to begin my talk, I'll revisit the central question as we've established. The question is, have I developed my social work self at WayAhead? Don't you love it how social workers have to always talk about themselves? Key tasks and learnings. At WayAhead, my main task was an evaluative project with the CEO requiring robust research and evaluative skills. It came down to two research questions in the end. The first one's a bit of a mouthful, but here goes. The primary research question was all about support groups and the program focus. This is the question. To what extent do facilitator-led, peer-driven anxiety support groups improve participants' mental well-being in relation to anxiety? And can the organisation reach a wider audience and retain established participants, overall providing greater benefit to participants? Told you it was a mouthful. There is a secondary question to this research, and it's about participant focus. What impact does access to current WayAhead support group programs have on a participant's ability to cope with the challenges of mental health? So the two questions are linked, but they're also split into a primary and a secondary question, because the second one's more about coping with their mental health status and how the groups actually help them to remain at baseline. So I went about designing and implementing a comprehensive framework which involved both qualitative and quantitative research methods, including interviews, focus groups, and surveys. This process enhanced my engagement with participants and facilitators and strengthened my leadership and analytical skills. Regular supervision and reflective journaling using the ERA model, experience, reflection, and action, supported my professional development. These practices enabled me to identify areas for improvement and growth, allowed me to remain adaptable and respond to the needs of support group members, as I did embed myself in a couple of the groups as a participant. Purposeful reflection with my supervisor allowed me to explore ethical dilemmas, values, and biases, further refining my professional conduct. Ah, dilemmas and obstacles. Isn't that the definition of social work right now? Throughout my project, challenges were abundant, particularly in seeking ethical approval. After consulting with stakeholders, including Ethics Committee from the University of Canberra, the Matilda Centre at Sydney Uni, New South Wales Health, and the Mental Health Coordinating Council, we decided to keep the study in-house, focusing on internal improvement rather than external publication. This highlighted the complexities of ethical research and the need to adapt projects' goals to practical constraints. And the constraint in this place was the number of hours of my placement. Another challenge was ensuring the language in surveys and consent forms avoided stigma and prioritized participant safety, aligning with WayAhead's values. Technical and logistical issues, such as arranging meetings and managing data, required resourcefulness and problem solving. And I provided some examples of the surveys and some other evidence as well. There were definite highlights of my work placement, that's for sure, including a terrific mentor in CEO Sharon Grocott. Strengths in my work and self included developing a comprehensive evaluative framework, which empowered participants through co-design and forming an advisory group to oversee ethical integrity. These reinforce the importance of accountability, transparency, and a strength-based approach. Communication and interpersonal skills were crucial for building rapport, fostering trust, and facilitating inclusive discussions, not only in support groups, but with the staff themselves. Focusing back to areas for further improvement and exploration in my social work self, some areas for growth include expanding trauma-informed training for facilitators, exploring trans diagnostic methods, and conducting longitudinal and economic evaluations. Personally, I aim to incorporate broader theoretical perspectives, explore alternative approaches, balance shifting roles, and enhance trauma-informed practice. Opportunities to work with diverse populations and applying counselling and casework skills will further my growth as a culturally responsive social worker. Building emotional resilience and coping strategies is also crucial for managing the demands of the profession. So my next placement will focus on some of those areas for improvement and exploration. It's interesting to view myself as an emerging social worker after teaching for 25 years. Regardless, feedback from colleagues and supervisors highlighted my curiosity, adaptability, independence, and competence in managing multiple roles and logistical challenges. My ability to facilitate meetings, navigate ethical considerations, and maintain clear boundaries was commended. Participation in the Anxiety Disorders Advisory Committee, or ADAC as it's known for short, as an acronym, and presenting project outcomes demonstrated my leadership and communication skills. I haven't had a chance to present the next update of the project to ADAC, which is on October 16. So I've provided in the package for this assessment a practice run. And it's a very rough practice run too, but you get to see what I'm going to present. Finally, my application of social work theory in practice remains a strength. Throughout my placement, I consistently applied social work theory, particularly strength-based and intersectional approaches, to empower clients and ensure inclusive and effective interventions. Reflective and critical practice enabled continuous improvement and innovation. This experience on placement at WayAhead was transformative, solidifying my social work identity and preparing me for future challenges. So, to close, given the evidence today, have I actually developed my social work self at WayAhead? Well, undoubtedly, I would say yes. And if you have any questions for Danny, send them through now. Thanks, Danny, for that energetic and brisk stride through your self-development in social work. Thanks for having me on the show. Gladly, anytime. See you next time in the next episode of Your Social Work Self.